This video is going to introduce you to Google Fonts, which we'll be using for the fonts for our websites. The reason for this is that when you use Google Fonts, you are essentially connecting to the Google servers, and those fonts are then installed on your page. If we just use the regular fonts that you might have on your computer screen, or on your computer rather, you can't be sure that your viewers actually have those fonts on their computers as well. And that is necessary if you choose a font like Helvetica or Avenir Book or something like that. You need to be sure that the user has those same fonts so the page displays the way that you want it to, and the fonts display the way you want them to. We can't guarantee that, and so we're going to be using Google Fonts because it provides you with that flexibility to choose something that you like the aesthetics of, that you like the personality of as well, that represents the kind of personality you're trying to create with your emotional design. And also there are 1,005 different families, font families, that you can choose from. It's very easy to use, user-friendly, and provides a great deal of flexibility for us as a designer. You will find a link for Google Fonts in the homework for the class. You will also find a link for it in the design spaces on the right-hand sidebar. You can just click on that, and that will open up the Google Fonts webpage for you. Now, they've made some changes to this in the past year, really since last semester. So, for example, this variable fonts, I'm still trying to get an understanding of what that is. You can click it if you want to. Click the learn more. It's very interesting what they're writing about. I'm still learning about the benefits or not. I'm going to keep it off for now, and just use what we've got here. Okay, so the structure of this page is, you can see that the different fonts are listed in this grid form. You can change that if you'd like. Okay, you could sort it by trending, most popular, newest, or name. Okay. And you can choose the categories. So do you want serif, sans serif, display, handwriting, monospace? And you could choose the language that you're going to be using. We're going to be, focusing on English, so you would probably want to select that. It's on the list. I guess the default is English. And there are different font properties. So the number of styles. This is like the number of weights. Does it get very thin to very wide, and so on? Is it slanted? Does it have how thick it is? And so on and so forth. So you can play around with all those different styles. What's nice is that you can type something in to this area up top. You can type your name, for example. Let's say I want this for my heading. I'm going to do it all uppercase. Okay? And I can see, scrolling through, the way my name will look in all these different fonts. It's really quite nice, very flexible. Now, I know I don't want certain kinds of things. I know I don't want display. I know I don't want handwriting. I know I don't want monospace. So I'm going to stick with, I actually want a sans serif font here, and I'm going to see which ones I like. And I'll just sort of scroll through. When I'm looking for a font, I'm looking for something that's got a little personality, especially in the ways that unique letters are being used. So the W, for example, this W in Alegria Sans is a very unique kind of W, very different than this Aleph, for example, W. I'm looking for my O to see how O-y it is. Is it oval here, or is it O like that? And I'm also looking, for example, at my Fs. Is there anything special going on with my Fs? And I'm just going to choose something very quickly here for my page. Now you can also, as I'm scrolling through, see that each one of these fonts gives off a distinct feel. Right? This one versus that one, for example. Some are more confident, some are less confident, some are more playful. Some are more bold, right? So you'll want to choose one that you think is representative of you, and that's what part of what we're doing in our design persona. Right? And sometimes you'll find things that you don't like. For example, I do not like this eye like this. I prefer my eye this way. So I'm just going to choose one right now. Just for the sake of it, I'll choose I guess I'll just choose. I don't like any of these. That's so funny. All right, I'm just going to choose this one here just so I have something. All right, so I click on this, and I can see how it's going to look bigger. Okay, so this is how my name will look if it's really big on the web page in the middle of the page, or this is how it will look small. Okay. I can also change this here to type a sentence if I'm looking for a body font. Here I'm looking for my header fonts. Okay. What's interesting is that if you scroll down, you can see what they would recommend pairing this with. So if I have the Alatsi as my header, Roboto might work with it. I could choose, oops, hit the wrong button. I can see how it works with that one. I can see how it works with Open Sans. I can see how it works with this one. You know, you don't have to choose this, but these are just some sort of pairings that they have selected for you, so you have that opportunity. Now let's see I want this font. I will click, select this style, right, and you'll see this window open up on the side. Now, to get the font onto my page, I'm going to click on Embed, and it will give me two separate lines of code. This first line here goes in your HTML file, and it will need to go on your index page, your portfolio page, any page where you want this font to display. This needs to appear. This line will go in your CSS document. Okay, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to brackets. Okay, I'm in my portfolio.html file, and I'm going to paste that line of code right underneath my style sheet line of code, which you already should have for the work for Wednesday. And you notice that it is in the head section. This is another bit of information that's behind the scenes, and you'll see that the link reference is to this web page, which are the styles for that code. It also has the rel style sheet and so on that we need. Okay, I can save that now. Okay. I'm going to go back to my browser, and I'm going to take the CSS rule, and I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to go back to brackets, go into my CSS document. I want this to be for my H1 tag. Paste that in, font family. Now, because I know I want this to be a larger file, and I know that I want this to be uppercase, I'm going to add two things. Text transform, uppercase, and I'm going to go font size, let's say 4EM. It's pretty big. And we're going to go over that in another video, which I'll be creating later today. So now for my H1, which is my name, I expect it to have this background burlywood color. If you recall how ugly this all looked. The H1 color will be this. It's the font family will be that Alatsi, and the trend it will be uppercase, and it'll be 4EM, which is a pretty big file, pretty big size. I'm going to save it. I'm going to open up my FileZilla. I'm going to refresh this because I'm disconnected. Forgot to reconnect. And I'm going to upload my portfolio.html because I added that line of code to it. I'm going to go into my styles folder. I'm going to upload my main to my styles folder over here. Go back to here. I have to go back to my web page, SU/portfolio, and you can see that that font is now there. Looks exactly like it. And so that font is right there. Now, if I want to go and find another font for my H2, my H3, and my body paragraphs, I would go back to Google Fonts and I would start again. I would remove that style. I'll go to my home page and I'll start looking for another font. Now we're just experimenting with this at this point. Okay. In your design persona, you're going to need to be very deliberate in terms of the fonts that you choose. But this is the process that you go through for finding and using Google Fonts. So have fun with it. If you have any questions, let me know.